I have another chance for some of you to win tickets to join us live at our grand finale. Plus, the modeling phase is in full swing right here on the Next Great Starship. Hey, I'm Sandy Gardner. Last week, Chris got personal with 6 of our teams to discuss their modeling work. This week, he talks to the other 6 teams and we get his feedback. Chris, take it away.
So hey everyone, last episode was a lot of fun. 6 incredibly talented teams. We got another 6 incredibly talented teams here. Have to say that I'm so impressed by the quality and the level of work. And it's a lot of fun checking in mid-modeling stage, answering questions, giving some feedback, potentially doing a little course correction, although I think everyone's really actually moving in a really strong direction with a combination of feedback from the judges that we do on our internal software called Shotgun, and also from the forums that have been given opinions back to the various contestants. So let's, without further ado, get to the next 6. Here we go.
Hello from Tradingo. We decided for the 5th week of a modeling phase to focus on the study. Before beginning work on the financial product, we thought it was better to focus on the factor that we consider fundamental: study of dynamics. Knowing Star Citizen user physics was essential that everything was balanced. I built a draft of the ship that represents the weight distributed in space. I have indicated in red the TR3 and in blue the TR2. Using the field of Maya with a high attenuation value, we can simulate the thruster. We immediately noticed that with 4 thrusters located on the back of the spaceship, weight were not balanced. We decided to create a configuration more brutal. Putting the engines on the wings, we have noticed that dynamics tests haven't been taken in the right way.
The other study that we conducted regards the size, related to the scales of Star Citizen. Another important study is the gameplay. The ship must be livable and give a feeling of involvement, versatile and obviously playable. We decided the default size for the human it had to be 2 meters. Obviously, the ship will be bigger, but will have no limits about the gameplay. For now, it is all very spacious and high. Areas left empty especially for adding details like tubes, circuits and other.
Now I show the central part of the ship. The hangar will have a rectangle PC that will control a mechanical arm for unloading and loading goods. The central area, the one with the hologram, will give the opportunity for passengers to have a map and mission briefing and other convenience. The escape pods will be 12. The outer sides of the ship will explode, allowing them to get out. We will have a very elegant apartment model, a changing room related to the airlock room, and the rear manned turret will be under the ship, and the last room is the infirmary.
How you guys doing?
Okay, sorry. Oh.
All right, doing good?
Yeah, we are good. Yeah,
Good?
fine.
Great stuff on getting the save there, and nice turnaround on the ship too. Doing the anvil design on the ship was really cool.
You like it?
Yeah. It's really nice. And then on the most recent video, what I like is that you guys are thinking about like the physics, like how the ship would fly.
Yeah, the last one. Okay,
Yeah, and how you would use it, because like the functionality is like really important.
We think that okay, we can just tell that tier 2 make the same power like the tier 3, because we know Star Citizen has physics power, so we can just do all fake. We wanted to do the right thing, so we make a physics Yeah, this is
I appreciate that.
we make just we know when there are the serious thing where to do serious thing. Can just put giant engine and tell, okay, yeah, it's a giant engine will work.
I like from the very beginning when you were first designing even the weapon you designed, you were thinking about Lejean ship to influence the weapon. And then you did the same for when you were thinking about the gunship, saying, okay, we want to make it an anvil, so here's looking at the design elements from these ships and bring it across. So I think that's all was very, I really like that approach to design because it makes the ships themselves feel real and grounded in the world.
Thank you. This is the best thing I can hear. There are things you don't like.
Obviously, the most recent video is you're still blocking it out. So the interior stuff I saw in the beginning here sort of feels to me like it looks like it's an interesting layout and it's good, but it's it's not detailed enough yet for me to really come back and say, okay, I would change this around as much. It sort of feels like it's a first sort of like, okay, here's a proposal and now we're going to go detail it out.
Yeah, it's a study of dimension because I take a model from Star Citizen and I try to place object to see like the dimension for the bed and everything.
Yeah, so I don't have much to comment on that. I mean, I can pull up, here if I just pull up your guys on the shotgun page. Yeah, I think my one comment I would have on the turrets themselves is that I think I would go with a slightly different style of the turret because currently
it's from the Constellation one,
Yeah, the Constellation, and the Constellation's more of a RSI, so...
RSI, I know, but I take a week for make all the ship after the idea, so I think that, okay, the turret it's not something of really important for now,
right.
Because of short time we think that, okay, the turret can be made better later. For now I want to think to the shape of the ship.
So I guess what I would say is I like what you've done with blocking out the inside, figuring out the physics. Generally I like the look and the shape of the ship. So the general form of the ship's good. I think it works very well with Anvil Aerospace. And so for me, like going forward, the details would be things like, cleaning up the turrets to look more in line with what would fit with an Anvil ship or the gunship. And then just sort of modeling out the interior with more detail, and then
no, will be much better.
Right. and then also the exterior. So like I can't remember if in terms of like how, is it landing? Is it use landing skids?
Yeah, no, landing for all the thing will be fine.
Okay. Yeah, I mean I think it's moving in the right direction. It's looking good. It was a good save.
Thank you. Okay.
You're doing great, and you also got good energy, which is fun too. So make it fun. Should be fun making spaceships. I'm looking forward to seeing the next round of stuff.
Thank you. Yeah, Thanks for the occasion. See you.
Ciao.
Greetings, citizens. Fuzzy Modem here, Team Cryo, with an update on the modeling portion of the Next Great Starship competition. I've been studying the Aurora and the Constellation for design cues while trying to retain my own sense of identity. A real-life modern aircraft that came up a lot when discussing this project on the forums was the AC-130, which has this giant cannon off to one side. I've moved the pilot's turret to the same side as the shield, so all weapons can be brought to bear simultaneously on the target. There's a lot of work yet to do. I've just started on the interior, and obviously all of the textures are yet to come. But I hope you like my progress thus far, and thanks for watching the Next Great Starship.
Hello there.
Hey, Sean.
How you doing, Chris?
Good. I saw the most recent update that you put up yesterday, which was cool. I like the way it's moving. And the only thing I will say is I think Mark had commented it back in Shotgun to you, is that you lost a little bit of the, you had the non-symmetrical thing that was going on. That was kind of, I don't know, it sort of feels like it would be nice not to lose that fully.
Okay.
That would be.
Let's see if I can bring that back a bit.
Yeah, I mean, just from my standpoint, it just sort of feels like, because that made you different, right? But I did like the fact on your ship that you had that sort of sense of it was not symmetrical,
Now I've added an extra shield emitter onto that armored side. Is that going to be kosher?
So where would I see the extra shield emitter? Or are you just telling me?
Hang on, let me see if I can send it to you in a file because it's slightly newer than the video. So that should get to you in a moment, I think.
Yeah, I just saw that.
So what I've done is I moved the pilot's turret again. Somebody on the forums pointed out a blind spot under the nose. So I've moved it there, and I've still got coverage on the shield side, so all three guns can still shoot towards what's shooting at them. And in its place, because I really like that kind of round shape at the center of the shield, I've put a second shield generator that's just 180 degrees.
And that's just on the shield side of it, right?
That shield slot is generally internal, and my thought is, okay, well, if this one's going to be external, maybe that's a little bit of balance. Maybe if you've got an entire other second shield on this side, once it's down, the ability to shoot at it and destroy it, maybe that even things out a little bit for the
Yeah,
other player.
well, I mean, the way we actually do the shields in the game is that it's not like a big spherical shield at all. It's sort of tied to the shape of the ship, and they have various segments. So like a big capital ship will have multiple segments along the side. Okay, here your picture just came in, so let me open it up. Cool, okay. This has moved on a little bit from your video too. I kind of like it.
Yeah.
It's kind of got a bit of this, I don't know, whatever you would call this. I don't know what I'm doing. This thing.
It's getting more bird-like.
Yeah, well, I just...
Like a bird-turtle cross is what people...
Yeah, exactly. That front view, it looks kind of like a hawk or something going in for the kill kind of thing, which is kind of nice. My one other criticism, this is a personal one because I couldn't talk to the rest of the judges, is there's a couple of views where I sort of feel like I'm looking at what you sent me. The front view, I don't have the same feeling for the cockpit now, but in some of the other views, I sort of feel like the cockpit front just sort of feels like, I know you said turtle, but it does feel like this little turtle head poking out, if you get what I mean.
I had a little bit of armor there before in the video, just these kind of like token flaps of armor that didn't really feel like they would do much. So now I've got these very, very large, thick plates of armor that slide into place only when the energy shields are down.
Right.
So when your shields are up, you have the best visibility you can. Shields go down, and these big armor plates slam into place so that you've got another layer between you and enemy fire.
Right, okay. My other one comment would be design-wise on the shield side that I'm looking at right here. I know you have this energy emitter here, but almost this element with the shield and the emitter kind of feels different than an RSI element to me. It sort of feels almost like a piece of alien tech.
Okay. Maybe there's something I can do with the backstory. See if maybe RSI is working with a little bit more alien technology the way Secure Sun does.
Yeah, no, potentially. I mean, I think, because part of the idea is that all the contestants are meant to write up their own little sort of story for it. Even they pick the manufacturer and you write up your own story for it. So you
know how much I love coming up with the backstory.
No, I know, that was great. Well, you remember everyone really liked the backstory. That was cool because then you can picture like the ship itself has its own like life and character, which is cool.
It's been fun. Thank you.
Yeah, you're doing great. I'm having a lot of fun just seeing everyone's iterations come in and seeing the stuff on Shotgun, and it's the talent of everybody is pretty impressive. It's personifying kind of the spirit of the game itself.
I'm glad you're having fun too.
Oh yeah, no, I'm having a lot of fun. It's cool. Who wouldn't have fun presiding over a universe full of spaceships that shoot each other? Stuff's looking good, and we'll be talking soon.
Bye.
Bye. Later, Sean. Bye.
Greetings, Star Citizens, judges. This is Team True with middle-of-the-road report of our development. We are still working on exteriors of the ship, but we are really close to finishing the first pass. And in parallel, we worked on interiors. We identified how capsules are going to look like, and I'm going to demonstrate it soon enough. We also have a pretty good development on the doors. It's still work in progress, but we're going to show you some concept, and we would really appreciate your feedback on the style and on overall idea. Also, we finalize the turrets and how they're going to work in atmospheric flight, how they're going to work in space, and how exactly exterior is going to look like. Obviously, and I think this was a sort of confusion earlier, we do not have any texturing yet. We use some placeholder texturing in place just to show how ship looks like, but this is going to start soon enough. And we are still working on rear side turrets and some minor details about engines and rocket launcher. Obviously, we still have a lot of work to do in front of us, and it's a really tight time frame. Alex is doing as much as he can, and let's hope that we're going to finish everything in time. And please give us more information about what you like, what you don't like, what you see to be changed, what is absolute priority for you. And thanks again for all the support and feedback on forums and in comments to our YouTube channel. Here are sleeping pods for the Marines and the crew. Marine pods are placed vertically as their primary usage will be to eject Marines as in emergency or for special missions, and sleep is just a secondary possibility. For the crew pods, the primary use is normal sleep. We make it possible to use them as sofas, and definitely they are good to save the life of the crew member in case of emergency. Let me show you the small sketch by Dmitry that illustrate marine crew purpose. Here is how thrusters will work for takeoff and how turrets will be positioned for atmospheric flight. Our gunship has same or smaller dimensions than a Hornet, so we are able to fit in Idris frigate perfectly.
Alright, look at this. Video, everything.
Almost. I don't see him yet. Yeah,
there we go.
There we go.
Cool, guys. I saw some of the concept stuff that you were doing for the drop pods, which was pretty interesting. And then I like the animation at the end, where like you're fleshing out a little bit of like how the gun turrets deploy and armor up and stuff. So it's all moving in the right direction. So I'm thinking it's looking good. I'm sort of looking forward to seeing you guys detail out the interior, I guess, which is based kind of on the concept stuff, and then just also continue on the outside, adding more detail and textures. But I like the deployment, the VTOL landing animations. I like the turret deployment animations. I kind of like the stance of the gunship. I all think those are pretty cool.
So on interior, do we have any specific requirements, like what are the boxes that we need to put for weapons, for space suits? What do you think that is obligatory on the interior?
I would say that sort of inside, for especially a ship of this size, you would kind of want to have, obviously we talked about having a cargo hold, potentially could take some Marines, and then there should be some level of crew quarters, right? So, I mean, I'm sure it'd be really tight. It would be like the same as being on a very small submarine or something. But, I can see the ship being out in space for, days, and you would need a place to sleep and sort of eat. So it should be feel like a really small, maybe submarine almost inside on the quarters. But certainly places where people could be, hanging out between, getting into a fight or on patrol.
From our perspective, we said, okay, it either could be 3-man ships that is able for long haul, or it's ship with Marines, and in this case, because we try to stay close to the Hornet size, if it's filled with Marines and all the gear of Marines, it's not able to go really far from a carrier or something like this.
I mean, I know in your profile that you had it almost Hornet size. I'm actually quite surprised that it's not that much bigger than the Hornet. That's actually kind of cool.
It cost us a lot of time and effort, but that was the overall idea, because we say, okay, this is really a flying brick, it's really heavily armored, it's not that maneuverable, but it's by the same time it's small. And
right.
That's why its survivability is high, because we don't want to fly, kind of Imperial cruiser for 6 people.
I think it's perfectly viable based on the size and the scale that you want to do compared to the Hornet, the Super Hornet, that this one is sacrificing sort of crew comfort and sleeping quarters for sort of size, which is fine, because then it would be lighter. So I think, yeah, you could probably maybe have 2 or 3 people on long haul, so more like a freelancer setup. And then if you're sort of close range combat or whatever, like this is based off, I don't know, an Idris or something bigger, and the Marines can load up in the back and you can go and do a boarding mission, that would be fine. Now my only real comment is I'm not really fond of the front landing skids. They just sort of feel a bit big and heavy to me. They sort of unbalance it. I mean, when I look at it in a landed position.
Oh, definitely.
Yes, of course. They can be made lighter and thinner.
Yeah, I mean that'd be pretty much my one note. I mean, I like the missiles deploying from the hull in the center. I like the 2 turrets on the side with the armoring that comes in. I like the engines that move around. So yeah, I generally pretty much all the pieces I'm pretty keen of, and I actually quite like the fact that it's a smaller one too, because it's just a different kind of option, which is cool.
I was saying that yes, the difference from other gunship is exactly we are small and we try to think about different possibilities. The question is that what is the minimal equipment that we need to provide for inside? Because we have 2 crew cabins. In the military version, pilot just have a sleeping pod or whatever, but no real cabin. But we have 2 gunners who have real cabins. Now the question is, what are the 2 guys that have to be on the military ship? So do we speak about mechanic and medic guy, or who's those guys supposed to be? What is the type of cabin you look for?
Well, I think it's kind of up to you guys. I mean, to a certain extent, I sort of like the fact that you're going after a certain size, because it makes you different, right? So I kind of feel like what you don't want to do is you don't want to have like 8 versions of the same kind of ship, right? So this is sort of like a compact, powerful, but not particularly comfortable, and it's not very big ship. So it's got pros and cons, and some of the other designs are much bigger, but you could probably put this ship in an Idris. You probably couldn't put the bigger ones in Idris, that kind of stuff. I think it's great to have the setup and the pros and cons, and it's really sort of down to you. So you could sort of follow the, kind of the Russian kind of design military, where it's very utilitarian, there's not really much comfort. So I mean, it would be fine. You could have it like like a really small sub, or like someone that drives a truck, where like they just have 2 small bunk beds and there's 4 people on the ship and they rotate between them, and 4 people can't sleep at once, they have to share beds. I mean, that kind of thing you could totally do. But yeah, you guys' stuff's great. So looking forward to seeing the next step. Thanks for staying up, or getting up early, or just not going to sleep, whatever the one it will be. And
I'll see you today later.
Okay, and I'm looking forward to seeing the next revisions.
Have a good evening.
Okay,
Bye.
you too.
Bye.
Later, guys. Bye.
Greetings, fellow citizens. This is Elwin from Skyguard Fabrications, and I have an update on the modeling for the mercenary gunship, the Guardian AX-2. Here's a reminder of what the gunship actually looks like, even though there have been some pretty major changes that have happened since this concept was done. So we have a turntable just showing a lot of the modeling that was done to the top of the ship. I spent a lot of time making sure that I have a really clean mesh for the top of the wings. I spent a good amount of time making sure that the TR2 thrusters are fully integrated into the hull geometry so that it's really smooth and it transitions very well. Here's an example of how the top turret is tucked into the top of the ship and completely protected with armor plating, but it does have the cockpit area of the turret open to the skies, that way you can still spot. So this hatch is actually a really good example of the level of quality that I'm shooting for the entire ship. It's got a very decent high level of polygons, and it's got a really cool deployment and retraction animation. So I'm hoping to be able to get that level of quality across all of the geometry on the ship. I still have quite a bit of work to do. So as you can tell, the Class 5 turret is pretty well hidden on top of the ship, but it still allows the user to function as a spotter without having to reveal its weapons. The turret on the bottom will function in exactly the same way. I still have a lot of geometry that I have to do for the exterior of the ship, and I have quite a bit to do for the interior of the ship. But everything is going really well, and I hope to have a more finished update coming soon. And here's a quick view of the visibility that the pilot has when he's flying the ship. Thanks for watching.
Hey,
Hey, Chris Roberts.
how you doing, Owen? Looking good on the submission so far. The most recent video looks really good.
Oh, thank you. I'm happy to hear that.
I think, are you growing the beard out for during the whole construction of the ship? Have you sworn not to shave until you finished it?
That's it wasn't intentional. It just happened because I really didn't have enough time or care to spend any time fixing this.
It's really progressing along. It's doing quite nice. I think I gave you some feedback on Shotgun, but I liked the changes and edits you did at the sort of the second round of the concept you did. So I thought that sort of took stuff in the right kind of direction. I mean, the ship was already pretty interesting looking, but I think it definitely enhanced it. And I like some of the details that I'm seeing in the current one, like the turret being recessed, but you can still spot from the dome, and I like the look and the visibility you've got from the cockpit, which is pretty cool too. So
Cool.
That's looking good. Have you had a chance to block out the interior of the ship yet?
I have, but it's really rough. I can show you. I'm not sure if I can actually. Should I just share my screen?
Yeah, you can share your screen.
Okay, cool. So the scene's pretty messy. I have a lot of pieces all over the place. But I modeled the interior similar to what a cargo plane would be.
Okay, cool.
So you have this really large open space, which can be converted as crew quarters if you really wanted to carry around 6 Marines for a long trip. And I've got these treads on the bottom, which would be used for loading in cargo.
Okay,
Very
cool.
similar to a cargo plane. But they can also retract into the ship and close up, so you don't even have to see any of that stuff. But it's really designed to be similar to the first concept that I sent you, which is one big sort of open space that's modular, and you can go ahead and throw in whatever you want.
That looks pretty interesting. So it's sort of like a Hercules C-130 kind of.
Yeah,
setup.
actually, it's very similar to that, yeah. So it's just sort of an open space in the center, and you can modify it to be whatever you want, actually. And the way it's set up here, you could actually, I'm not sure if it's part of the mechanics, but you could forego the use of one of the turrets in order to have even more cargo if you wanted to.
Okay. Do you have some questions for me to help answer?
Yeah, I really only have one question, which is, what does this ship need to do or show you in order to get your vote for the Next Great Starship?
See, you've been watching them reality shows. I like the design a fair amount. I think it sort of is going to come down to the execution of the details for me, sort of seeing the inside and the exterior fleshed out, and the ships to me that sort of feel the most real and functional. I generally like the idea and the shape. I feel that, and this isn't necessarily something that's particularly addressable, it depends on the kind of gunship you're thinking about, right? So this sort of feels like a lighter and more nimble gunship than, say, maybe a few of the other designs that feel sort of like a heavier, more like a gunboat instead of a gunship, so to speak.
Sure.
So I would say for me, I like the look, I like the design. I think that it's become more tangible and real as you started to model it out. And perhaps my sort of one thing that I'm not in love with is the look of the turret with the way the sort of capsule is where the gunner would be.
Sure.
I don't know, there's something about it that I'm not in love with. But in general, I like it, and I kind of like the back end. I like that sort of C-130 rear hold kind of idea where you can bring stuff in. So I think it's sort of going to be depending on the details that you're doing and the texturing and the animations. And I mean, that's definitely one of the things that I've really liked about all your stuff is that you do really great like animations and deployment stuff, right? So you could even see it on that, like the airlock door opening and the ladder coming out. It's just got like a lot of character to it in terms of how it happens. So, and your gun definitely was like my favorite in terms of how the animation, how it deployed, and all that kind of stuff. So I like all that stuff. It's sort of that makes, for me, like when you have a ship and it's like deploying stuff in cool manners, it's kind of cool. And we built a whole, we got what we call a highlight camera system. So like for like cool deployments and stuff, like your missile bays open or gun turrets deploy, it will like cut out for like a brief moment, so to show the deployment and then go back into your first person mode in the cockpit.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
And you can turn it off if you want, but it's just to basically show the level of fidelity and detail. So anything that can show that stuff off would be definitely good. Okay,
cool. Yeah, I'm definitely working on making sure that I have some really cool animations for the entire trip. So that's a big focus for me.
Cool.
And I have one other question, which is not exactly related to the ship. but there's been some pretty big recent discoveries in science the last few weeks. You have gravitational waves and that new dwarf planet that was discovered in the Oort cloud. How is that going to affect the game? Like, is that going to make it into the game?
To be honest with you, it's too early to say. I mean, I didn't even hear about the dwarf planet, but I've been too busy working on the dogfight, so I have to go check it out. But I mean, generally we sort of look at everything that's happening, and if we think something's cool that can fit inside the fiction of the lore, then we try and adapt it. So you kind of have things that are sort of based on reality. Like you have shards of present-day physical truths that exist in the future world, depending on like what you think would be appropriate. But of course, you don't take everything, because the way we're building the game and like all the vehicles we're doing, they probably wouldn't be the most efficient way to design a vehicle for space. Now they may be particularly decent for space and atmosphere, because if you look at some of our designs, they're not that much different than say a space shuttle. So
Sure.
my guess is in the future pretty much everything will be flown and done by computer anyway. So but that's not any fun in the game to have some whoever can
Sure.
afford the most expensive AI gets to win the battle. That's definitely
Yeah.
pay to win. I'd rather have some level of skill in it. So. Awesome.
All right, well, thank you. Thank
no,
you very
thank
much.
you. Look, I'm enjoying the work, so I'm looking forward to seeing the next round. Giving you some feedback on Shotgun, and I guess we'll talk soon, eh?
Well, thank you very much.
Okay, cool. Thanks, Elwood. Talk to
Have
you
a good
later.
night.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, Salma from Team Japan here, dropping off a quick update for our gunship, the Drake Interplanetary Brutus. So here's something to be addressed for this update. We extended the tail to balance out the design when this thing comes out, so it looks kind of more like a sky crane now. So yeah, that's the thing. The drop pod isn't finished yet, obviously. So we also made the engine itself smaller. It's apparent in the 3/4 view, but also apparent in the front view. That's another thing. We also imported an older version of this model into CryEngine to check the visibility of the thing. So if you look at this is roughly where the player is going to be. Let's go into player mode. So this is roughly where the player is going to sit, the pilot, and the visibility from inside is nice and wide, like this. The upper one has slightly less visibility, but here's what it looks like. Once again, sorry about the missing pieces. So going back to Maya, as you noticed by now, I'm pretty sure, there are no textures yet. Sorry about that. We got a bit of a late start, but we'll do our best to give you an update with some shaders by next week or like a week and a half from now. So yeah, let's go into the engine. We put I spent the last 1 or 2 days making this engine. So we figured that it's gonna get shot at a lot because it's just hanging out there. So we decided to model it from the inside out. So let's take out the shell and take a look at the inside. Shell. So here's what the engine looks like on the inside. We have the 2 TR3s. There are some pieces missing over here, but that's okay for now. Yeah, here are some. You can see the engine nozzles, the variable thrust nozzles. We put a lot of love into them because we saw you guys put a lot of love into the engine nozzles. So yeah, that's there. This is the frame that holds it all together. The frame, and then the intake on the front end, the gimbal, and the afterburner units. One at the top, one at the bottom, like this. So yeah, that's I think that about concludes our in-house quote-unquote update of our gunship, and hopefully you guys like it, and hopefully we're not too far behind. So thank you and have a nice day.
Hey guys,
Hey, hey. Okay, we need
how's it going?
Yeah, we're going okay. How about you?
Good. You guys got the lab coats on?
Yeah, of course.
Looking like good mad scientists.
You got to see our shotgun submission last Friday, I'm assuming?
Yeah. So from my standpoint, I like the fact that you reduced the engine nacelle sizes. They always felt a little oversized compared to the main body, and so that sort of was making it feel slightly cartoony. So that was good. I liked the feel, like it felt like the cockpit visibility was going to look pretty good. From my standpoint, I would say that the things that I'd like, the next level of stuff, I mean, the exterior from the 3D side looks like that's going to be pretty good. I just would kind of like to know inside the ship, like, how you get in. How does a pilot get back? How does someone get into the turret? Where would the Marines be, or where would you store the cargo? Because it sort of feels like that level of the details hasn't been fully fleshed out yet.
I noticed that on some of your ships you had proper airlocks, but a lot of them don't. What's your standpoint on how much we should pursue airlocks in the design?
I think it sort of depends on what level of EVA you think that you're going to need from it. So some of the ships have airlocks, so you can go out and do EVA without having to vent the inside. But if you don't have a proper airlock, then basically when you open your hatch to go outside, you literally have to vent the atmosphere inside your ship. So it's sort of up to you whether you've got room for it or not. Obviously, having a real airlock helps out a lot in terms of like going inside and outside without causing everyone else to put spacesuits on when you're going to do that. So it is recommended. You don't have to have them all be the same as, say, the RSI airlock that's sitting on the Aurora or on the Constellation.
I also noticed that, you mentioned offhand somewhere that there are going to be different kind of armor classes, but we don't know anything about armor that people wear to battle with. And we noticed that it wasn't really specified anywhere how big these things were going to get, as far as we know. But we want to be able to accommodate all the different kinds of armors in the game.
So you're talking about the Marine armor, right?
Yes, I am.
So the Marine armor, we've got 4 classes. We've got light armor, which probably wouldn't be used or deployed in the what you would be using it in the gunship for. We've got medium armor, heavy armor, and Titan armor. So I would say that the Marines that would be deployed out of the ship would probably have medium and heavy armor. Titan armor is sort of a bit more like it's a big, like you're built up in a big suit. So, maybe not quite the same way as that setup they had in Avatar, but think of it more along those lines, where it's a big power-assisted suit. Whereas the medium and the heavy armor is probably more like sort of Iron Man style in terms of volume and size.
It doesn't look like the space needs to be vastly different depending on the different classes. So,
no, I would say Titan's different in size, but the medium and the heavy, yes, they'll be fine. They're just sort of heavier plate. Think of those as plates of armor. So the heavy would be sort of full plate, and the medium would be it would be more a sort of chainmail setup. I love the work you guys are doing so far. You guys are really talented. So.
Thank you for the opportunity. It's really nice. It's an honor to meet you too.
Oh no, you're welcome. Hey, thanks for doing great stuff. So many of these ships are all cool, so it's fun to see such cool talent.
It's such a great opportunity. I mean, when I first saw Star Citizen, I was blown away by the starships, and the first thing I thought is I wanted to make one.
Cool. Well, that's what you guys are doing, man. We're getting to make the game that we all want to play, and we don't have any interference from a big publisher or anything else. So it's the ideal situation. I'm actually looking forward to getting some community-built spaceships into the world too. And there's a lot of talent out there. So yeah, I'm looking forward to your guys' next round.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks so much.
Later, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, Star Citizen fans and CIG employees. Welcome. I am ePhalanx from TriTri and here to give you a quick update on the big bad Silverback. So let's get into it. Off the back, we changed the Silverback windshield to provide a little more visibility because we went from 1 seat to 3 seats. So you can have everybody sitting up there and enjoying and singing tunes together. So that's a good thing. We also fleshed out the interior a little bit more. We were kind of in the phase 2 block out stage, so we're trying to get past that into the high detail area. We've done a few areas, which the cockpit, pilot seat, and some other areas have been fleshed out a little bit more. But we're kind of almost at the completion stage for phase 2 block out. So here you can see some of the interior areas. We got the loo there for the bathroom and all that. You see some of the entrance ways between the OVA unit and the main hull. So here you see some of the landing gear and how that works out, and then you see the size comparison for the Freelancer. Now we got some alternate looks, more military rugged cockpits, a little more armored, also having some fins on the back, giving it a little sleeker look. This is more of an optional type config, perhaps a little more military, like I said before. You can see some of the engines been beefed up. We have the brake flaps as well. Here we see the lift working and the tables and chairs. Also there's a sink in the back, and we have a grate at the top to protect you so you don't fall in on the top. You see the chair swiveling here and the animations on the arms that fold out to give you the control panels. There is a little clipping here. We're going to fix that on windshield. Now you see the way the missiles are loaded into the hull, also the entrance and ramp and the ladder that folds up inside. Here this will show you how the engines work and how they articulate. We have a little more work to do on the front thrusters for the side to side, but it should be simple to take care of. And you can also see the wings fold back for cruise mode. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Really appreciate all your support. Have a good one.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Oh good, how's it going, Chris?
Going good, man. The most recent video I like a lot. So I think one of my feedback to you guys would be, I actually, because it's a Drake ship, I think I like some of the other cockpit studies. There's sort of one that's a bit more like the Cutlass's cockpit. The rest of the ship kind of feels Drakeish, but the very round bubble cockpit sort of, I think you said it was more a military version in the video that you guys did. That one sort of feels more like a Cutlass cockpit to me.
We took that back to the table and came up with one that would fit that. We did put a couple variants in there so you could see and just make sure, you know, that you were comfortable.
I definitely liked those. I'm just gonna pull up. I like that you guys, you were increasing the size of the cockpit so more people could be up there. I thought that was a good move. You know, I like sort of like the lower hold section that has like your breakaways, the cutaways that you have here are really nice. You got like the jump seats, which is sort of like jump seats in like a, you know, a military transport plane, C-130 or whatever, which is cool. I like the missile storage thing because one of the game mechanics that we have in the bigger ships is potentially like reloading missiles. So like if you had some more in your hull and you ran out, which would be kind of cool during a space battle or, you know, before you could sort of land and rearm. So I'm looking at this one here where you've got like more of the Cutlass sort of cockpit feel. And it's also got some kind of cool grills and greebles on it, which I think is pretty interesting. Where's the second Class 5 turret? Is that on the underside near the back or something?
We have one on the top and one on the bottom.
All right.
So,
hey Jim, welcome to the call.
Hi Chris, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Well, there's Jim's cat.
Yeah, there's Jim's cat too.
So we have a turret on the top, and then we have a turret on the bottom. Like so, right underneath is the turret on the bottom, and I think there is a render.
Yeah,
where you can see.
Yeah, I can see like I'm looking at a render in the video right now that's sort of a little later on. That's a side shot, slightly under, and I can see the turret sort of going to the front, and then the turret on the top that's further back from that. So,
right. That turret on the top, it slides.
Okay.
So when you enter the turret from the inside, you enter a little bit closer to the cockpit area, and then once you get in, that slides to the back. It slides a little bit further back.
Cool. Well, I'm actually looking forward to getting in the engine. So I mean, I guess it looks like you guys are pretty far along on the outside. Inside, still got a bit ways to go, but and then it's sort of what, texturing and animation.
Right, right.
I'm digging where you guys are taking it, so I'm sort of looking forward to seeing it sort of move into the engine.
So how did you feel about the variants as far as like, we had a couple of variants, and I know you said you like that one cockpit. There's some things that we kind of did with, you know, like looking at variants as you get further on, like maybe you want to get a little more armored up or something of that nature. Is that sort of thing all right? Or I mean, obviously we don't want to extend ourselves because we got a lot of stuff to do anyway, but just keeping that in mind, is that something you'd like us to make sure our ship is capable of down the road?
Yeah, I think definitely. I mean, I think most of the ships we have on some level would have some variants. Obviously, I think the key is to make sure the base ship looks great and is in and animated and all the rest of the stuff. And then I would say the way I would look at the variants would be, that would be kind of like the gravy, right? So like, okay, yeah, this could be the, you know, this is the deep patrol version. This is the boarding version of the gunship.
Glad we got a chance to talk about it and your thoughts on it.
You guys are doing really nice work. I'm really looking forward to seeing the next round from you guys and eventually seeing an engine, because I think it'll be pretty cool.
All right, thank you, Chris. We really appreciate talking to you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, guys, I'll talk to you soon.
See you.
Later. Bye.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
Hey guys, it's Dan. What a big day. The other 6 teams got feedback direct from Chris Roberts. I've got a lot of opinions on this, but let's find out direct from the teams what it was like.
I just finished having some feedback from Chris Roberts, the man himself.
You see this man on the for the chairman, you see this man on interview, you know this man is creating a big project, so knowing him is going to interview you is strange.
We were pleasantly surprised and really enjoyed the feedback session that we had with him.
I feel good. That was really fun.
He shared our vision and our dedication to some specific strengths and weaknesses of the ship as we see it.
I think one of the coolest parts about talking to Chris Roberts personally is how quickly any kind of potential awkwardness between Chris Roberts and us melted away because of how genuinely geeky he is.
He is a very technical guy, really knows what he's talking about with concerns with these ships. I mean, he really gets down to the nuts and bolts of them. And he has a clear direction as far as what he wants to see and where he wants to go with it.
He seemed pretty pleased with my progress so far, so I was really happy to hear that he was enjoying my work.
It's good to know that he's liking the design so far. I think I got all of my questions answered to my satisfaction.
But overall, I think it was a really positive response.
It was like a final confirmation of just how genuinely in love with the project everyone at SIG is.
New ideas flowing, which is really, really cool.
We're going to be taking some of these changes forward and modifying the design based on what he's talked about.
We hope to speak with him more time because it was really a constructive experience.
See you guys around the galaxy.
Peace. Have a good one.
Okay, which team do you think will be there in the end? You could be there cheering them on. I'm about to give away 10 free tickets. Here are the rules. Follow us on Twitter, and this weekend watch for a tweet about the free tickets. The first 10 people to reply to that tweet with the team you want to win it all will win 2 pairs of tickets. All right, guys, next week the judges are back, and so are the eliminations. No team is safe. See you next Friday.